Okay, now we're back. Anyway, I'm using... Welcome. Somehow the microphone turned on and off. When you're using all your mobile equipment on the road, I loaded up the entire KCTK studio into the back of a truck, and we're driving down the highway at approximately 90 miles an hour. The reason is that we're going to Palm Springs to deliver a truck to a very influential Italian businessman. That's all you need to know. So I'm not there, and I'm here with my buddy Trent. Hi, Trent.
Hi there.
Welcome to the... Have you ever been on the podcast before?
Never been on this. I was hoping to even get like a tutorial before it started.
Okay,
that's enough. Go right at it.
That's enough, Trent. So we're driving from Kansas City to Palm Springs. We've gone through Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Now we're in New Mexico?
Yep.
Okay. I thought the name was going to be changed.
It was New America.
New America. And it was a lot of fun. We had some delicious Tex-Mex food. I mean, come on. And now we're driving where we're in the middle of New Mexico. We're going to go to Arizona, see a thing called the Grand Canyon, which I'm not quite familiar with. But I guess it's a hole.
It's pretty big. It's big.
Big hole.
Big hole. We're going to rename it too.
The Grand America is what... You know what? A big hole is what they really should name something after Trump. You know what I mean?
Big hole.
Our president, our dear, beloved president. Anyway, the reason that we're on is to let you know we're not doing a regular podcast. I know you miss your radio pals, Chris, Boogie, the Texter. And I've also ran into some problem, folks. So my Facebook was hacked. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I told them it wasn't me, and then they disabled the account. And so when that happened, I thought, this is great. I'm liberated from social media.
Sure.
I don't need it anymore. This will be good for me. I'll probably drop 150 pounds and live longer. But then I realized you guys out there, all the faithful KCTK listeners and Past Week, Next Week, that some of you listen to it because, well, you're elderly and you only use Facebook for all your media. And you don't use Apple Podcast or TikTok. Heaven forbid they do TikTok.
Sure.
They're old people, Trent. So,
like, what's your average median age?
Median age of our program of like the people on it or the people listen?
Listen.
Oh, the listeners are much younger than us. They're probably an average age of 65.
Okay.
So they're
this is a hot demographic group to reach out to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're signing on Geritol and
AARP
and some reverse mortgage commercials, and it's going to be big.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm trying to get the KCTK radio page back and better than ever, so be patient with that. But those of you who just download it, thanks for listening to this episode. I don't know, it's fun on a road trip, but it's not. We haven't really done enough to like. I'm going to tune in that podcast.
Right.
So we get it. But here's the thing. Tune in next week. I got some big news.
Big news.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
I'm going to tell listeners too. Because
now I've been in a car with you right now for 12 hours and I do I know this big news?
I think you do.
Okay.
See, my co-host won't listen to this.
Sure.
So I get to surprise them.
Sure.
I've written a book called Past Week, Next Week, The Adventures of KCTK Radio. And we're going to debut it next week and talk about the different chapters and the history of the podcast, the radio station. Because it's a streaming radio station, Trent. It's not just a podcast, for crying out loud.
All the time.
You can see us. You can listen. Good Lord. Why don't you know that? I can be in the car with this guy the whole time.
24/7, right?
Yeah, that means 24 hours and 7 days a week. Okay? And, but it's going to be fun because I do the show with these guys and they don't do anything. I bring the news to talk about. They just show up and say, where's my cup of coffee?
You know, I used to serve on the board with Chris Whiting. I'm very familiar with showing up and not doing anything.
With his work ethic. Okay, yeah. So you're very familiar. You're very familiar with Chris. And imagine if Chris didn't work as hard as he does.
Right.
That's Boogie, the other guy that's on the show.
Now, I don't know that I know Boogie. I think I like Boogie.
Yeah, Boogie's very likable.
Yeah.
But does nothing, adds nothing to the program. Nothing. So anyway, I'm looking forward to showing the book to everybody, and that's about it. I'm done babbling. Let's see if the music will work again.